Shalom Yasharala, giving all praise and glory to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because you worthy to be praised for everything. As always, I'm going to start off with Colossians 3:17, and whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem, Mashiach Yahushua. Give it thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem, Mashiach Yahushua. So all that we say and do is going to be in the name of the anointed Savior of the world called Jesus Christ. That's not his name, because the J was invented in 1630 A.D. When he met Paul on the road to Damascus, he spoke in the Hebrew tongue in Acts 26:14. So we're going to say how Mashiach Yahushua representing him and the Most High representing the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. We give him thanks for everything because he worthy to be praised and glorified for everything, point blank. So I was going into how we cried unto the Most High, and the Most High sent us deliverer. And this is what we as a people have to do now. And He's going to send on Mashiach Yahushua back to deliver us from all four corners of the earth where we as the Israelites been scattered for breaking the Most High's laws, his rules and regulations. So it's very important that we look at what our ancestors gave us, or our forefathers gave us, that worked with them, and they used it every time to allow the Most High to have pity on us. And that's what we have to do. We just got to follow suit of what they did. It's real simple. It's just a matter of, are you willing to do this, or are you not willing to do it? You got another way that you can make the Most High have pity on us? I like to see it according to the scriptures, according to our history, our story. You see what I'm saying? So when I looked in this, I'm like, wow, this is deep, because this happened over and over and over again. And you're going to see. It's the way that we were redeemed. We were redeemed. So I want to cover something again, because we got to get the Most High to praise. His name is jealous, understand, and overstand. And certain things, he have some of us on a mission that has nothing to do with anybody else and where their thoughts or their thinking is. We got to follow it. Just like he had men of the Bible, women of the Bible, children of the Bible, doing what they did as an example for us today, just written for us. But see, we think that is, you read it and you still think it's a fairy tale or something. It's something that happened to the people. It was written for us. We're the ones that have, from Genesis all the way to Revelation, everything in between. You know, when the Mashiach walked the earth, they only had what? The law and the prophets. That's it. What did Paul have? The law and the prophets. What did Peter have? The law and the prophets. James have the law and the prophets. That's all. They didn't have what we have. Look at Psalms 102. Just to make that clear. 102 and 18. It says, this shall be written for the generation to come. And we that generation. And the people which shall be created shall praise the Most High. See, that's what our objective is, to praise the Most High. Listen what it says. For he have looked down from the height of his sanctuary. The Most High looked down from the height of his sanctuary. From heaven did the Most High behold the earth. So he's looking down upon the earth. Remember, he said the earth is his footstool. He said the heaven and the heavens can't contain him. But he's looking down upon the earth, let you know he's above the earth. To hear what? The groaning of the prisoner. We're the prisoner. We're the prisoner. The Israelites. We're in captivity until this day. But he's hearing the groaning, that's the crying out of the prisoner, to loose those that are appointed to death. You hear that? To loose those which are appointed to death. And And that's us. We the children of Israel, because we got next forever and ever and ever. Whether you want to accept it or not, everything end up being pointed at us. We the reason why. We the reason why. This, that, the third, whatever, always blaming us, the children of Israel. They hear the groanings of the prisoner. So why we got to cry out to the Most High? To lose those that are appointed to death. You hear that? To lose those that are appointed to death. To declare the name of the Most High in Zion amongst we the children of Israel. And his praise in Jerusalem when the people are gathered together in the kingdoms to serve the Most High. You hear that? These kingdoms are going to be gathered together to serve the Most High. He going to be all in all. So, understand, that's why we got to go into this word and look at what our forefathers left here for us in mysteries, in parables or riddles, and sometimes it's just plain as day. You can understand it. When you read it, you can understand it. Once you understand who you are, being the children of Israel, and know that it's talking to you. This is our ancestors. This is our forefathers. Who we are. But that's another topic. But let's go to Numbers, the 20th chapter. And I want to bring this out again because I brought it out earlier, but I want to bring it out again. Because this is very important. Like I say, listening is an art and a responsibility. So I want to bring this out again. In Numbers, the 20th chapter, we'll start at the 7th verse. Let's read verse 6, because it's very important. It says, and Moses and Aaron, remember we were taught that Moses was a leader and Aaron was the priest. Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle. Because people were complaining. Saying it was they that died in Egypt, bringing us out here to the wilderness. Complaining all the time, right? And Moses, to the point where Moses thinks the children of Israel might stone him to death. And wherefore, he said, listen, and Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell upon their faces. And the glory of the Most High appeared unto them. The glory of the Most High, Hamashiach Yahushua, as an angel of the Most High, bringing forth the word of the Most High, who he is, the word of the Most High, you know, the top holy angel. That's what the Holy Spirit means, holy angel. The top holy angel, Hamashiach Yahushua. The glory of the Most High. That's why, look, real quick. A lot of y'all probably say, that's not the glory of the Most High. He's not the glory of the Most High. Let's find out. Let's see what he said. Let's go to St. John. I believe it is. St. John. th chapter. Let's see what he said. It's a prayer that he's praying to the Most High when he's here in the flesh, right? So let's see what he said. In St. John 17:5. He said, and now, O Father. So he's letting you know that he's not the Most High. He's praying to his Father, the Most High. Now we pray to our Father, which art in heaven. You know, isn't that the Our Father prayer? We'll take a rocket science and figure this out. This is who he's praying to. And now, O Father, we're here to show you that he's the glory of the Most High. Glorify thou me. Hear that? He said, glorify thou me with thine own self. With what? With the glory which I had with thee when? Before the world was, you see. So he had that glory before there was any worlds. You know, there's many worlds, but he said before the world was. He had the glory. So That's why I say it's something that is a mystery. But it's clear here. You just heard it. So going back to Numbers, 20th chapter, when it says in verse 6, and the glory of the Most High appeared unto him. Because ain't nobody ever seen the Most High. Overstand this. Go to the book of St. John, 1:18. The Most High always have a representative. St. John 1:18. No man have seen the Most High at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him, as he's declaring him now. As we read in here, as the glory of the Most High, but an angel of the Most High, the Spirit of the Most High, right? So, going back to Numbers, the 20th chapter, verse 7, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, through the glory of the Most High, or the Spirit of the Most High, or the angel of the Most High. Look, go back to Exodus 3 and 2. Come on. I mean, there's many places we can show that he's there. It says, and the angel of the Most High appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. You see that? So, the same angel, same spirit that's appeared to him is who we reading about as the glory of the Most High. Look, go to, because I quoted it. Let me just show you. Go to 1 Corinthians, 10th chapter. 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. And let's read from 1 to 4. Just quick. I mean, the whole chapter letting you know pretty much as we go down to these verses who it is that's dealing with Moses in the wilderness. Listen. Moreover, brethren, verse 1, 1 Corinthians 10th chapter, 1 down. I would not that ye should be ignorant, not knowing how that all our fathers were under the cloud. You know, a cloud led us by day, which is a UFO they call, but we call them IFOs, identified flying objects. The chariots of the Most High, or the angels of the Most High. This angel was a Mashiach Yahushua that was in the cloud. We're going to let you know how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea. Remember we went through the Red Sea? Most High opened it up. We already went through this in this lesson. On dry ground, and were all baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, the spiritual understanding of this word, and did all drink the same spiritual drink. Listen up this closely. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Mashiach. See? But he's an angel. He's the Spirit of the Most High. Same spirit that you read about in Genesis 1 and 1, and Genesis 1 and 2. And Genesis 1:26 says, let us go down and make man in our image and our likeness. The Most High and his only begotten Son, of Mashiach Yahushua, as an angel. The Spirit of the Most High, like we spirits. You know, how you think you came here? You came here as a spirit, and the Most High brought you through a man to a woman to bring you into flesh. But you still got a spirit inside of you that whenever you die, the Most High take that spirit back. That's his. And these mortal bodies, these rental bodies that we have. So you see, that's the Mashiach Yahushua. See? So, understanding that and understanding that, we got to go back to understand. You say, nobody's seen the Most High. Which one of y'all seen the Most High? If thou can't say. Y'all say y'all seen the Most High. Nobody seen the Most High. Flesh and blood can't approach the Most High. But, you know, you have those that believe that they have. I like to hear it. How he look. Because as I read, St. John 4:26 says, the Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him how? In spirit and in truth. So going back to Numbers 20 and 7, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, gather all the Israelites together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak is very important. That's why I say listen is an art of responsibility, because before he had told when they was complaining about water, he told them hit the rock to bring forth the water. This time he said, speak ye unto the rock before their eyes. It says speak before the children of Israel, before their eyes. They could see the power of the Most High and give him praise, right? And it shall bring forth his water. That's why I say you got to look at this from the point of who's speaking to Moses. Because the Most High, if it was just him, why you say bring forth my water? But it's saying bring forth his water. That's where there's someone that's speaking to Moses outside from the Most High. And that's what Mashiach Yahushua, as an angel of the Most High, as a spirit of the Most High, telling him, hey, he's going to bring forth his water. That's the Most High's water. You see? And thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts strength. And give them water. Because they was complaining about no water. Okay? And Moses took the rod from before the Most High as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, hear now, ye rebels, must we, he said, must we fetch you water out of this rock? See, that's the first mistake. Because the people listening, and they looking at him, they thirsty as ever, and he already done hit the rock twice, and the water came out. So now here he is again. He said, hey, speak to the rock. It shall bring forth his water. His water. Not Moses and Aaron water, but the Most High's water. But they said, must we fetch you water out of this rock? So the people were thinking what? Moses and Aaron gonna bring forth this water out of this rock. And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. And the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also, right? So he told them to speak to the rock. But he didn't do that. He hit the rock like he had did before. That's why I tell you, listening is an art and responsibility. You got to listen very well. But some of you can't listen, you can't hear, so you might not be able to gravitate into what it is that we got to deal with in these last days. That's why you got to learn to listen. Study to be quiet, to listen. See, he heard it. But you see what it said? Verse 9, and Moses took the rod from before the Most High as he had commanded him. But he didn't hear him. And if he heard him, he allowed Israelites to get on his nerve and him not to pay attention to detail. It's very important. That's why you got to read the Bible slow. I know sometimes I'll probably be going fast, but because I know it, but I try to, on my own, I got to read it slow to really see what I'm showing you. Because you can read it fast and you missed out, you'll overlook that. The fact that he said, and it shall bring forth his water. You can miss that. Because it's Most High not saying, I'm going to bring forth my water. It's the angel of the Most High telling him the glory of the Most High, who is the Mashiach Yahushua, the only begotten Son of the Most High, as an angel of the Most High at this time. As we just read in 1 Corinthians 10 and 4, that spiritual rock that followed them in the wilderness where we at here was a Mashiach Yahushua. But if you can't put together that he is an angel, he's a spirit of the Most High, then you're going to miss it. Verse 11, and Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly. And the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron. Hear this very clearly. And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believe me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel. You gotta understand. Y'all better start learning how to say glory to the Most High, praise the Most High. A lot of you got to learn that because you don't do it. You want praise for yourself. And the Most High name is jealous. Listen to what he's saying. This Moses. And I showed you Moses was the most humblest man in Israel, in the world. So y'all think y'all got this past with the Most High and you operate in the right perspective before the Most High and you ain't giving him glory? And you not saying praise the Most High? You're not used to praising him? Listen. And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believe me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore ye shall not, I repeat, he said, ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. That's deep, y'all. That's real deep. Just what we looking at. We want to be able to go into the kingdom that's prepared for us. It's already ready for us. Just a matter of us having the right attitude, the right spirit, to be able to be accepted by the Most High, be worthy to make it. While we have, like it says, written for us. Now, we to live today. Because they didn't have from Genesis to Revelation everything in between. They had the law and the prophets. You see? And this Bible stops pretty much in 65 AD. Because 65 AD to 70 AD, we was at war with the Romans. And all those that were joined with them to bring us down, as the Most High said he would do, because we didn't follow his commandments, his laws. So then Revelation picks up about 90 AD to 96 AD approximately. So who had that? We have this. And you say, man wrote the Bible, this, that, and the third. The Most High have his hand to say, this is what we need for us to learn it, live it, and apply it in our life to see salvation. Hallelujah. So now let's go to verse 14. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom, our fraternal evil twin brother. You read about them in Genesis, the 25th chapter, 25th verse down. Thus say thy brother, see? Thus say thy brother, Israel, see? Thus say your brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that has befallen us. So you know that we're in the captivity, slavery, and bondage under the Egyptians. You know this, brother. Edom, my brother. That's what Israel is saying. Send a message to him, right? How our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time. 430 years, 250 years that we were ruling Egypt. Last 80 years we were in captivity, slavery, and bondage. And the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. Listen, and when we cried unto the Most High, he heard our voice. That's why I said we got one last time to cry. And that's it. Remember we said in the kingdom ain't gonna be no more tears. Ain't gonna be no more crying. We're gonna be rejoicing. Gonna be happy and rejoicing forever and ever and ever. That's the opportunity that we have right now. And when we cried unto the Most High, which is our topic, he heard our voice and sent an angel. Sent an angel and have brought us forth out of Egypt. He sent an angel. We know that angel was Mashiach Yahushua as an angel. We just read it in 1 Corinthians 10 and 4. You keep on reading down to tell you what he did. He's called a destroyer too. That's why when he come to judge and make war, he already know what to do. He hanging out with Micah Allah, the archangel of war, rehearsing. And sometimes you see maneuvers in certain places where you see the angels making maneuvers and so forth right now, preparing for what they're going to do in these last days. You see what it says? And when we cried unto the Most High, he heard our voice. That's what we at now. You got to cry to the Most High. Unless you satisfied in hell, you satisfied with what you see in this earth, all the abominations that's being done on this earth amongst us. But when We cried unto the Most High. He heard our voice and sent an angel and have brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the utmost of thy border. Talking to Edom, talking to the so-called white man. This is forefather, the Edomites. Like I said. Verse 14, thus say thy brother Israel. See? Verse 17, let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We asking to let us, so we come out of captivity, pass through the land of Edom. We will not pass through the fields. We're not going to bother anything in your fields, or through the vineyards. We're not going to bother anything in your vineyards. Neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We're not going to even drink of any of your water. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand or to the left until we have passed thy borders. So we're not going to turn to the right hand or the left till we have passed your borders, man. We're just going to go straight through. And Edom said unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with what? The sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway. And if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. I just want to pass through. And he said, thou shalt not go through. Refuse to let us go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border. Wherefore Israel turned away from him. Why? Let's go back to when the blessing was given to Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, and Edom or Esau, who became a nation by the name of the Edomites. Listen, what happened? Go to Jacob was given the blessing of everlasting life, and Esau was given the blessing of living by the sword and having the fatness of the land as they do now. Living by the sword, that's the military and so forth, that they do have now. So now, this is what Esau said. While you see how they felt, let's see why. Genesis 27 and 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, he said in his mind, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, because Isaac was getting ready to die. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. Then will I kill my brother Jacob. Just like Cain and Abel. Esau planned to do the same thing, as you see now. You know, that's why it tells you in Ezekiel 35 and 5. Ezekiel 35, because it's dealing with the land that the Most High gave them, and the land cannot speak, the land don't have no power. It's the people that's on the land. And he was given Mount Seir. That's why you look at Ezekiel 35 and 1. Moreover, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, right? So that's the people that were given the land of Mount Seir, which is Edomites. Now to prove that, go to let's see, Genesis the 27th chapter, I believe, and let's see, Genesis, what is it? Genesis 36, and we read verse 1, it says, so like it's the Genesis 36 and 1, and now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom, which means red, right? So it says, verse 8, thus dwelt Esau, where? In Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Esau became a nation by the name of the Edomites, right? Like we the Israelites, they the Edomites. See? Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. So they're the people that lived in Mount Seir. That's what it's talking about. So now let's go back to Ezekiel 35. So you see the spirit that he said once they buried, because, you know, Jacob and Esau buried our forefather Isaac. So now going back to Ezekiel 35, it said, moreover, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, right? Prophesy against the people that lived in Mount Seir. So now verse 5 says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. Remember, you're going to live by the sword. In the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. See? That's the future. The time that our iniquity have an end, they're going to be killing us. Attempt to. Therefore, as I live, said the Most High Power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. They wouldn't allow us to go through their land. They said we try to, you know, negotiate with them, they came out with the sword. Many people. Go to Deuteronomy, 26th chapter. Deuteronomy, 26th chapter. Unless you're somewhere in some kind of faraway bubble or something, you can't see that all it is even to this day. It is like such. As far as the spirit that's on them. That's why they got them Karens out there, them Kens. Y'all know about them? And the police, how they doing us and so forth. I mean, how everything is set up against us. Go to Deuteronomy 26th chapter. And look at verse 6. It says, Deuteronomy 26 and 6. And Egyptians evil entreated us. Egyptians evil entreated us and afflicted us and laid upon us hard bondage. We the children of Israel. And when we cried unto the Most High Power of our fathers, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Most High heard our voice. You hear this? Solutions. When we cried unto the Most High heard our voice and looked on our affliction and our labor and our oppression. And the Most High brought us forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm and with great terribleness and with signs and with wonders. And he has brought us into this place and have given us this land, even a land that floweth with milk and honey. But you're going to see that the Most High brought about his judgment against them nations that were in the land, that had all this beautiful land and crops and the best in the world. They call it the crest, it's the best land of the world. You know, period. The land that the Most High loved. He gave it to us. But these other nations have it. You're going to see this. Go to the book of Joshua. The 24th chapter. And let's look at, start at verse 3. Joshua 24 and 3. Because a lot of this is like our story, you know, that we're going over to look at how our forefathers were reminded of what happened to us. That we got to look at learning, living and applying in our life to teach our children these things. He said, I took your father Abraham from the other side of the flood and led him throughout all the land of Canaan and multiplied his seed and gave him Isaac. But the Most High gave him Ishmael before Isaac. But you see, the Most High chose Isaac, right? And I gave unto Isaac Jacob and Esau. See? You can read about that, like I said, in Genesis 25 and 25 down. And I gave unto Esau Mount Seir. So you know, that's the mountains. Mountain mean mountain Seir. They come from the mountains. You gave to Esau Mountain Seir to possess it, right? But Jacob and his children went down into Egypt. We went down into Egypt. And I sent Moses also and Aaron, and I plagued Egypt according to that which I did among them. 10 plagues he put upon the Egyptians. And he hardened the heart of the mind of Pharaoh to not let us go so that Most High could get him a name. Like he gonna do in his last days. Understand and overstand this. You gonna understand it. You gonna be saying Abanawa Yahweh. Krom Abanawa Yahweh. Krom Mashiach Yahushai. You gonna say Krom Yasharala. You better get them 3 in order. You know, I mean, we know the order. We ain't rising till the Most High rise and say, hey, Mashiach Yahushai rise, because he's sitting on the right hand side of the Most High. That's what he gave me years ago. You know, rise Most High. That's what David is saying in the Psalms. In the songs he's singing. Rise Most High. Then the Mashiach Yahushua gonna rise. It was his power. He told you that in Psalms 110 and 1. The Most High said unto my power, Mashiach Yahushua, sit thee on my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool. Most High ain't sitting on his own right hand. Who's sitting on the right hand side of the Most High? Mashiach Yahushua. Ready to come and judge and make war. When he say rise, go forth and judge and make war and bring forth righteousness on this earth. Point blank. The kingdom that's coming to the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua, a righteous kingdom at that. So all you that don't want to be in a righteous kingdom, hey, you deserve to be thrown in the lake of fire. You like it here? You like all this wickedness that's going on here? You accept it? What is your plight going to be? It's already written. Listen. Verse 5, I sent Moses also and Aaron, and I plagued Egypt, according to that which I did among them. And afterward I brought you out. Once he killed the firstborn, males, sons of everything in Egypt, they said, go out, get out of here. And I brought your fathers out of Egypt. And you came unto the sea, and the Egyptians pursued after your fathers with chariots and horsemen unto the Red Sea. You see, we heard this already. You see, repeating it again. Over and over again. This is what the Most High did. So all you that say, I heard that already, well, you ain't ready for the Most High. Because he's telling you again and again and again. Look. And when they cried unto the Most High, he put darkness between you and the Egyptians. He says, we see the stories and we read them as he's telling the same story again and again. You get a little bit more. Just like you read Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they pretty much telling the same story. Read when you observe each one telling the story or the writings that's there, you get a little bit more of the understanding of what really happened. You can add here and add there like we see now. And before, we never seen darkness that was in between us and the Egyptians. Now we're saying darkness. He put darkness between you and the Egyptians and brought the sea upon them. So we're going across dry land. They're going to follow us. They pursued Pharaoh and his chariots. 600 men and his chariots followed us. And the Most High brought darkness. Remember the angel of the Most High went behind us? And when he went behind us, he brought darkness on them. They rolling, next thing you know, it was dark. Then he covered, like you said, he covered them up with the sea. The Red Sea came upon them and drowned them. And when they cried unto the Most High, when we cried unto the Most High, he put darkness between you and the Egyptians and brought the sea upon them and covered them. And your eyes have seen what I have done in Egypt. You see that? He said, you seen what I did in Egypt. All them plagues that he brought upon the Egyptians. And we didn't have anything happen to us. and covered them, and your eyes have seen what I have done in Egypt, and ye dwelt in the wilderness a long season. And I brought you into the land of the Amorites, which dwelt on the other side of Jordan. And they fought with you, and I gave them into your hand, that ye might possess their land. And I destroyed them from before you. He would say, I destroyed them before you. The Most High destroyed the Amorites before us. Then Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, arose and warred against Israel, and sent and called Balaam, the son of Beor, to curse you. But I would not hearken unto Balaam. Therefore he blessed you still. So I delivered you out of his hand. And ye went over Jordan, and came unto Jericho. And the men of Jericho fought against you. Who? The Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Girgashites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. And I delivered you into I delivered them into your hand. The Most High delivered them into our hand. And I sent the hornet before you. Hear that? He sent hornets before us, which drave them out from before you. The hornets was the Most High's army. On this particular occasion, he said, I sent hornets before you, which drave them out from before you, even the two kings of the Amorites, but not with thy sword, nor with thy bow. Hear that? Not with our sword or with our bow. And I have given you a land for which ye did not labor. I gave you a land that you didn't work at all to get. And cities which ye built not. We didn't build these cities, already built. And ye dwell in them. On the vineyards and the olive yards, which ye planted not, do you eat. So you ain't plant these olive groves and these vineyards of grapes. Now therefore fear the Most High, and serve him in sincerity and in truth, according to his laws. You know what the truth is? We got to sing it together. Psalms 119, 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Now therefore fear the Most High, and serve him in sincerity and in truth, keeping his laws, statutes, commandments, and put away the gods. Hear this, Israel. Put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Most High. You hear that? The same gods before the flood. Remember, he killed everybody. Before the flood, they were serving all these different gods. So he killed everybody but 8 people. Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth and their wives. On the other side of the flood he's talking about. Before he killed everybody. Except for 8 people. And in Egypt, we was in Egypt, and served ye the Most High. So we coming out of Egypt, we had all them gods that the Egypt, remember all the gods of the nations are idols. Right? So we seeing what the Egyptians was doing, like it is now. You got all these different religions, and prove that your religion is in the Bible. Baptist, Jehovah's Witness, any of them. Catholic. Show where the Most High gave us these religions. Where it's dealing with different gods. Different powers. Not the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Else you be talking about doing his laws. To bring you to him, my Sheikh Abshai, who did not sin, who did not transgress the Most High's laws. Listen, verse 15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Most High, choose you this day whom ye will serve. Whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. But as for me, Joshua said, as for me and my house, he said, we will serve the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, that's his name forever, the memorial to all generations. And the people answered and said, the Most High forbid that we should forsake the Most High to serve other gods, to fall into these religions or these powers of these other nations. Say the Most High forbid if we will do this. For the Most High, our power, He it is that brought us up and our fathers out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, and which did those great signs in our sight, and preserved us in all the way wherein we went, and among all the people through whom we passed. You see? And the Most High drave out from before us all the people, even the Amorites, which dwell in the land. Therefore will we also serve the Most High, for he is our power. But the Most High is the witness of what we did. We made the statement. But did we follow through in what it is that we said we were going to do? No. We didn't do it. We chose some other way. To follow the way of the heathen. We liked it better. Instead of following the Most High. That's why it tells us in Jeremiah 17:4. Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage, our land that the Most High gave us, that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Most High say, all you need is me. No, we're going to follow the way of these other nations. So he kicked us out of the land. Daniel 9:11. Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law. How? Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us. And the oath that is written in the law of Moses from Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, the 15th verse to the 68th verse. The servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven has not been done as has been done upon Jerusalem. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, the children of Israel. Why? Yet made we not our prayer before the Most High our power, that we might turn from our iniquity, that we might turn from breaking the Most High's laws and being wicked, and understand thy truth, understand the Most High's law. You're not going to get away with doing whatever you want to do and thinking it's okay. It's not okay. He making it clear. So let's go to the book of Judges. It's very clear that I've done lessons on our many captivities. Just going to review it, and we're going to see how we came out of it. Like, we got to come out of captivity now. And it worked. It will work. That worked before. While we here looking at our forefathers, our ancestors, and what they did, and how we got the attention of the Most High to have pity on us. We're going to go to Judges, the 3rd chapter. And let's look at let's start at verse 2. It says, only that the generation of the children of Israel might know to teach them war, at the least such as before knew nothing thereof. Teach our children how to war, be warriors, namely the 5 lords of the Philistines and all the Canaanites and the Sidonians and the Hivites that dwell in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon unto the entering in of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Most High. These nations, these Hamite nations, or so-called African nations, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses, you see, And the children of Israel, look what they did. Dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites, right? Look what they did. And they took their daughters to be their wives. We took these other nations, these Hamite nations, daughters to be our wives, and gave their daughters to their sons. So we gave our daughters to their sons and served their gods. So let's see what the Most High said. He had told us this in Deuteronomy 7th chapter. So we always got to go back to what he told us in the law. Deuteronomy 7:1. When the Most High thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, these nations that we just read about here in Judges, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Most High thy power shall deliver them before thee, the Most High said he's doing this. He delivered these nations before us. Thou shalt smite them. He said, thou shalt kill them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant, no contract, no agreement with them, no sure mercy unto them. Listen to what he's saying. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. You hear that? Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Listen to our responsibility. Maybe you didn't hear. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Why? For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. Remember Psalms 96:5, for all the gods of the nations are idols, that they may serve other gods, other idols. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly, right? Let's look at what happened. Judges 3:4. And they were to prove Israel to them to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Most High, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses, that we just read. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hivites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites, and they took their daughters to be their wives, breaking the laws of the Most High, and gave their daughters to their sons and served their gods. Did Most High, did he say this is what they're going to do? And what we're going to do, if we marry into them, our daughters will have our son, our daughters are, to have their sons, and their sons to have our daughters, and our sons marrying their daughters. They're going to turn your mind away from following him to serve other gods. You just say other idols or so. So listen to what it says. And the children of Israel did evil. See, that's evil in the sight of the Most High, and forgave